Sorry, not sorry.
Sorry, not sorry.
Sorry, not sorry.
To the Warehouse 15, and again, it's Grandmaster of Disaster, and TJ has made a pledge. He's gone on a monk monastery vow of silence, so he says he's not talking today. Namaste, gate, paragate. We'll see how long it lasts, but right now he's wearing a shirt called the warm-up. He's in perpetual states of warm-up. But we're not going to start with him because apparently he's not talking today. How you doing, Coach Moreno?
Wait, I'm going to implore him to talk because, if it's just me and you, it'd be a little boring. We need some spice. Listen, I'm doing amazing. We got a lot to talk about, and I apologize to all of our listeners. Everybody's been asking me, hey, what's going on? What's going on? What's going on? And I feel like it's been forever, so I'm going to apologize. But I got to give you a quick little recap. TJ, I was in beautiful, halfway sunny California. I was with Grandmaster Perez. I had a great training. I had I concur, some amazing. He's mad because you have invited him out there. Amazing Thai food. TJ, come back, baby.
Come on. Smile.
Come on.
Smile so we can see you. There you go.
Hey, amazing Thai food. I will give him that. But I had this
Did he make this Thai
unbelievable
food?
service. Hell no, he didn't make it. He took me to the real peoples. But I went to this amazing, I got an eye exam by this incredible doctor. But the doctor was amazing, but it was the tech that scanned my eyes, my retinas. Amazing. Great charm, beautiful young lady, super, super nice. No other than Grandmaster Perez's daughter.
Nice.
She actually did my scan for me, and then his wife gave me a great eye exam. It was awesome. So now, hopefully, I could retire these broke-ass lens craft glasses.
Next time you come, we'll fit you for a pair of progressives. And thank you for the kind words about my daughter. You brought out my shy daughter, and she was...
Wait. She was awesome. TJ, they showing me like Prada, Gucci, Tom Ford, and no good and well I ain't afforded that stuff, man. Come on now. Come on, man. She's like, oh, these would look nice on you. I'm like, oh, yeah, I'm sure they would.
we would have given you the hookup price.
Okay. Next time. But it was great. I had a great weekend. Thank you, Young, for having me with your family. It was awesome. Good food, good people, good time. So
thank you for coming. Thank you for coming out and helping my young aspiring athletes, and they're always emotionally and physically moved by your ability to do what you do. I was able to catch up with a lot of stuff, so I only caught parts of it, but I'm always appreciative of the time you come out, and I'm so happy that you work with my coaches and athletes. One day, TJ, I have a dream, and that dream is that you will come again to the amazing place. It's been 2008 was the last time you were here, right? He's still
after that.
Was it after?
No, it was way after. It was after. It had to be 13, 14, maybe.
Really?
Oh yeah. Hey,
Perez,
you better be careful.
You wouldn't let me come before the Olympic Games. It had to be after the Olympic Games.
Exactly. Yeah, that's true.
TJ
Perez,
who?
you better be
TJ
careful,
who?
Man. You better be careful, man. Mama Jennings in the house over there. Man. She might come and smack you up.
No, they left this morning.
Oh,
you're
good,
lucky. You're lucky.
That's why we postponed yesterday.
That's exactly right.
I didn't want to get.
Okay. Now, I'm glad you guys had a great weekend. The sunny California, the food, the glasses.
Wait, hold on. Let me check let me see how long that vow of silence lasted. All right, go ahead.
I would like to publicly apologize to our audience, all of the group of them, that I was still sitting in front of my computer waiting for the podcast to start. While they were out on their, I'll call it hangover Taekwondo weekend, doing Poomsays and karate stances all weekend. But I was here waiting for you guys. And my shirt, the warm-up, awesome tournament. My boy Bernard Posey, Master Bernard Posey.
Oh, how's he doing?
Sent this over to me. He's doing good. He has a competition that'll be, I think it's January 24th at the beginning of the year. The whole concept behind it is like basically a warm-up into like the team trials process and national, all this stuff. And he had a good following last year. We had music going in the stand, so it was a pretty awesome time. But shout out to him for the shirt.
He has a good event, Young.
Oh, really?
He has a really good event. He's got a really good concept.
He can send me a plane ticket too, and then
this guy is all about free plane tickets. This guy, man, I think you should work for USA T.
Oh no, I don't want to get in the way of a bad idea and a good plane ticket. But go ahead.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, anyways, that'll be January 24th. I'll be out there with some of my guys. It was a good time
Where
last time.
is out there? Where is out there?
Greensboro, North Carolina.
Oh, okay.
Greensboro,
So
yeah.
I'll go. I'm gonna go.
Nice. That's what's up. Anyways,
Yeah.
all right. Well, let's
catch up on.
catch up. What do we got? What do we got?
you guys are on vacation.
Let me start. Let me start because I started last time. I gotta go. We can wrap up this Poomsay thing because, like we've all three said, we don't know anything about Poomsay as far as the modern day Poomsay, especially the sport Poomsay, how they judge and all the different stuff. But I can't say names because I won't say names unless they gave me the okay. But I talked to two people. They called me, actually more than two, but two people that I'm referring to in this conversation. Very extremely close. As a matter of fact, you can't get closer to what actually happened. And they gave me their version of it. They gave me what happened. I have no reason to believe otherwise. So the only thing I'm going to say about it is obviously there was some craziness that went on. I take people at their word. Actually, two people that called me, I believe them. But I'm going to let all that stuff go because obviously it was a weird situation. But what I'm not going to let go is I found out, I didn't know this. This was a category that was for 10 and 11-year-old people, boys and boys. And I'm like, I thought it was like grown adults. I had no idea it was little kids, number one. And when I heard that there was some booing, and I do want to talk about that in a second, in the stands, was it at the athlete or the referees? Look, free speech kind of guy. Look, if you want to boo at the referees, you don't like what they did, you think it was wrong, I feel like you should be able to, to express that. But I heard from these two people that these same adults followed this group to the medal stands and were booing this 10-year-old kid or 11-year-old kid. Like for me, that's too much. If it's in the ring and you're going at the referees, okay. But if you're going to follow to the stand, to the podium, and a grown-ass adult, man or woman, is going to boo this 11-year-old kid who doesn't really understand. He just knows he got in. He knows he won, whatever the case may be. He's not thinking about cheating or not cheating or lying or hurting. And that's not right. I'm sorry, that's not right. And I told both of these people, I'm like, you guys are a better person than me. Because if I would have saw that, my famous thing, I gotta smack somebody. That's just ridiculous. You can't act as a grown up, an adult, boo a 11-year-old boy. That's just ridiculous. I think there's no place for that. So, on that point, I really agree with, USA T, if that's how it happened. The other stuff in the ring, I got a little, something there that I want to talk about a little bit later. But I just had to throw that shout out to those two people that reached out to me, gave me a different perspective. And made me understand a little bit more what happened. Yeah. I don't know what you guys think about that.
I mean, no, I think you mentioned it to me a little bit before. So they followed him from the ring to the medal stand, right? That's weird, though. That part's weird to me. I mean, obviously, you don't hear that part. Obviously, that's the secondary part. I mean, it's a shame that, like, it has to go that far. And over what's supposed to be the gentler, more respectful, more not so mean side of martial arts, the Poomsay side. That is kind of strange.
But TJ, I'm going to say this, and maybe this will open up a can of worms because I find it interesting that the USAT did go to their lengths to come up with this resolution, in this situation. But we've had sparring situations. We've had sparring situations where, again, coaches in front of everybody called athlete a bitch, not once but twice. The opposing athlete, he's this, and it's right in front of director of athlete affairs, right in front of administrative people, and nothing was said, nothing was done, no resolution, not to the kid affected, the parties affected, whether it's the athlete or the other coach. I mean,
that's what I said too. At least they got an answer. At least they got an answer. They got some kind of weird response, and maybe it was too much. Maybe it was the wrong direction. Maybe, I think it got taken in a bunch of different ways with the athlete and then the parents and then all this extra stuff. But like, there's been several sparring things that have happened that we don't. It's just, I don't know if we're just supposed, again, it's that world of we just deal with it and keep going. It's normal, it's normal, it's normal. Or it's just not who you want to punish at the time. They're not, you know what I mean? It's not who you want to make a big deal of the situation at the time. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I know exactly what you mean. And I'm just going off what I read that, if they can identify people through video or pictures and stuff like that, that they're going to be, I don't know what would happen to them, reprimanded them, kicked out, warned. I don't know, but my point is that I'm going to say some worse things. I mean, booing a little bit or kind of like not being happy with the decision. I think that's one thing, but literally, you know, addressing another athlete from a coaching standpoint, I think that's I'm okay with it. I'll deal with it, my own way. But I'm just saying, it just seems they pick and choose when they want to defend. They pick and choose who it affects or doesn't affect. Because I'm gonna tell you right now, TJ, if that that was you or me sitting in the stands booing a Poomsay kid, I'm sure we'd be sitting in the cheap seats, never to be seen again in Taekwondo. So anyway,
I love Poomsay.
I just wanted to,
Poomsay.
like I said, I told these two individuals I would speak on their behalf, just because if I'm going to throw shade one way, and if I hear another perspective, I'll report that stuff, especially not having an opinion about it, especially not knowing what the details were and how. I asked a couple of questions, like if this guy was double pressing, why was he double pressing only for that person? It seems kind of weird. They didn't really know, but he didn't say it ahead of time. He's supposedly he corrected himself, and then it got brought up later on. Seems a little strange, but at the same time, I have to take people's word for it that it was a mistake.
Well, you have to remember, there's no IQ test to become a referee. There's no agility test. There's no physical test. So we get our best and brightest of the worst and the worst. So,
yeah. Well, let's move on to the Pan Ams, the Junior Pan Ams, because that was obviously a hot topic. And
I heard the USA Taekwondo did extremely well and placed 4 out of 4 on the thing. Isn't that true? They did the USA Taekwondo. No, they didn't. No. They substantially underperformed again. Surprise, surprise. But go ahead.
Honestly, like I said, I think we talked about it on the last podcast about the tops in each division, who we thought would win the divisions. I know we talked about there would be some like tough matchups, which we kind of knew. I think it starts at the under participation and how I don't think we took this event too seriously. But it kind of shows that the overall I don't know if the amount of support that was given to the build up to making this team to going to this the Pan Am under 21 Pan Am part or what, but I think we finished 9th overall in under 21. Was it 9th?
Something like that.
Eight other countries finished higher than us, and you can say we didn't take the numbers, blah 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 blah, but that's still our fault. We should have someone in every division. I think I said that before. I think I'm beating a little bit of a dead horse, but it's unfortunate to see, and just being so close to the under 21 process throughout all those tournaments and being able to work with some of those athletes. I think a lot of those matches that were dropped were definitely winnable matches, and it's just unfortunate that back to the drawing board we go, and we'll have to qualify one person for the Pan Am Games as opposed to having an extra person in the Pan Am Games process, especially with the initiative for the gold medalists to go directly to the Olympic Games. So for me, underscaled, underperformed, all that good stuff.
Young, the reason why this junior under 22 Pan American Games was important, first, it's a multi-sport game. All right, everybody takes it serious. Second,
that's what I was going to ask you too. I'm going to write it down. Go ahead.
Second, if you win a gold medal here, you go direct to the Pan American Games, which is part of the Olympic process. It was it's significant. I mean, you can have more than one American athlete in the Pan American Games, which means you have a better chance qualifying for the Olympics. It was important last go around as well, and I'm going to say they took it a little serious. CJ went, the head national team coach went, and they know the importance of it. But yet again, to your point, TJ, you're sending, I guess, the third coach from the organization, if it's Gareth, Paul, and Steve Lambden. I mean, I'm going to say that he's the third coach, right? He's not one of the top two. So it tells me they didn't take it serious. The whole qualifying process, they left everybody on their own. They didn't invest in anybody. So if you went, you went. If you didn't go, you didn't go, which I think is a big mistake. And when I look at the results in the women's, 46 Mexico, 57 Mexico, 67 Canada, plus 67 Haiti. Shout out to our peak athlete, Ava Lee, Coach Lee's daughter. She won the heavyweight division. So Haiti had a gold medal. So no USA women gold medal. On the men's side, 58 was Argentina, a surprise, beat Brazil guy in the final. 68 was Chile, beat the United States in the final. 80 was Brazil, easy walk away. And plus 80 heavyweight was Cuba. Again, on the men's side, no gold medals. That's a little alarming when we've said statistically we've dominated and done extremely well in the cadets. We've done less in the juniors. Now we're doing less in the under 22. What's going to happen at the top level? I mean, I'm just, again, not my opinion. These are what happens, with the United States athletes. And so it's a little scary that we didn't take it serious. It's a little scary that we didn't get a gold medal. You're right. We dropped a couple close matches, but again, that's the sport. When I look at the Mexico 46 girl, she beat their Olympian. She beat their world champion to get there. And then she goes and runs off a gold medal at the Pan Ams. You know what I'm saying? Like, they took that serious. And this girl might be the new 49 in Mexico. I don't know, but she's obviously somebody for them to contend with.
Yeah.
It's a little bit scary. I think.
I guess I'll ask you a question and maybe you can help me with that, Grandmaster. But like for the under 21, like, it's a USOC funded event, right? Because it's the games, it's a junior games, or like, I would assume, right?
It should. So the way they do funding is you create a high performance plan, and then in the high performance plan you develop markers and things. And if it's something that's in line to put a person on the podium at the games, then it's usually funded because you put it as part of your high performance plan. And to say one last thing, why was CJ there?
No,
last time.
Last time. Got it.
4 years ago.
Yeah.
All right, go ahead.
So
No,
I guess it's just hard for me to understand how. I mean, if it is USOC funded, from an organizational standpoint, from a high performance standpoint, it should be one of the things on your markers. No, it should be somehow.
Well,
I know it popped up last second and all this stuff, blah blah blah, because it was kind of delayed, but everyone else got on board and figured it out a little sooner than we did.
No, but TJ, I would say that it was definitely. I mean, I know they got like USOC gear, so to speak. You know what I'm saying? They gave them that kind of stuff because it's a game, so it's got to be USOC funded. I'm sure airfare, obviously hotel and food and all that stuff was USOC funded. I'm not sure. Yeah, I know the other stuff, before was not, the qualification part wasn't, because that was individually funded. But listen, this is not new. They knew that maybe the qualification system was a little bit new, but this games has been, everyone's known it for 4 years. So it should have been part of the high performance plan. And we didn't just learn that this, whoever wins this goes to the Pan Am Games. That happened last time. So there's no excuse for a lack of investment or a lack of vision, a lack of training, a lack of whatever to get these guys kind of, now I'm going to say one thing, and again,
this is our age marker though, right? This is the age marker. Under 21 is this age marker that we talked about and that we pushed, because we've already said that there's no success connection between junior and cadet success, but there has to be some connection between under 21 success and the above level success, right? That has to be almost directly connected if everyone is about that age right now, correct?
Listen, I agree with you. And, I'm going to go one step further, and it can sound self-serving because you're my buddy and you're my former athlete and blah, blah, blah. But again, when I look at the makeup of that team, two people that qualify for that. As a matter of fact, you helped them qualify through that system, through all those series, Michael Rodriguez and Maya Mata. Like, them very specifically. You've been in the battles head to head with the people that they just fought and pretty successful with them. And now we take another coach that doesn't know them very well at all. And it showed. It showed because one of the athletes was my athlete, and there was literally no adjustment from first to second round. And when a guy that is a scoring machine scores zeros in both rounds, of course I can blame the athlete. I'm a former athlete. I put it on myself. But I'm also a coach. And when things go wrong, I take the blame. Things go wrong. I'm like, what didn't I push? What didn't I do? I couldn't will him to get a Kamjan to win that match. I couldn't will him to get a punch. What did I do wrong? I'm just saying there was an obvious disconnect. Obvious. And you can say it's the athlete's fault. You can say it's the coach's fault. But I'm
I'll
going to
take
say
it
it's
one step. I'll go one step further than that. I know you said like me being in a chair with them, but also just being in that environment and watching that whole series play out for the most part. I think I
yeah.
missed one, and that was the one in Cuba. But I was able to kind of see how these guys fought from the first one to the second one to the third one. I saw who lost to who and what kind of matches did they have when they beaten people, what kind of matches did they have when they lost to people. So just the overall information was not there. You look at, I know you can connect that with the athlete and the coach in the chair, obviously, but now we both have an understanding of who this person is, who this coach is, what's their style, what are they afraid of from, let's say, Michael, or what don't they like when Maya does this, all those things matter at a series where you literally fought back to back to back over the last, 5, 6 months, 7 months, whatever it was.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I think if you're not a part of the process altogether, if you're not paying attention to that stuff, I think you're doing a disservice, because all those other coaches from all these other countries that invested in it were there majority of the time through all the series.
I'm going to give listen, and I've said this before. I think if things are done the right way and you fail, you don't succeed, you don't get the results that you want, I can live with that, because I think the process. And now I talked to TJ privately. I talked to you, privately, Young. Like the Brazil group, we underperformed. We underperformed. We had one gold and a silver and a couple of bronze. Underperformed. They were hoping for 3. They were expecting 2. I thought two gold medals. But just the performances weren't what we thought they should be. But the process was proper. They invested in these kids to qualify. They took these kids to different international camps. They had them in Brazil training. They worked on some, a lot of video, analysis and stuff like that. So they did the right thing. They gave them the opportunity to win. Did they pull the trigger? Some of them did. Some of them didn't. Like I said, we should have won the 58. We actually beat the number one guy from Mexico in the semifinals, and then we lost to an Argentinian 2 rounds to 1 that got away from us. He should have won it, to be honest with you. The Argentinian kid was a surprise. He beat the Chile guy, and then he beat the Brazilian kid. So underperformed, but the process was proper. It was correct. They gave him the best opportunity. But when I go back, I'm sorry.
And the fact that you say underperform, and the fact you keep harping on, he dropped the match in the finals 2-1 to this person, a little surprise, all these things. But then the message that after our performance or USA's performance, the message we put out to everyone is they understood the mission or they got the job. There's no way none of those guys like that. That's absurd. Like I know the Poomsay guys did well and got some good medals, and they're rock stars, right? They go over there and they win. They kind of they're really consistent within that region, especially. Obviously, you got world champions and big names on the Poomsay side. But to say that we understood the mission on the sparring side, and I'm not knocking anybody. I'm not. I know all those athletes, the ones that you just spoke about personally, and I know they wanted to go over there and win. And win was the only mission. Like, let's be honest. Like, we celebrate our successes for second. We celebrate our successes for third. Being on the podium is way better than not being on the podium. I got it. But with 8 people coming from a dominant position, coming from being like 1 or 2 in the overall rankings prior to going in, seeding to not get through to the number 1 spot in that situation, when for me those were their spots, is an issue. So there's no way we can say that we understood the mission. If we understood the mission, we're talking 2 different languages. Period.
Yeah. Look, and I get you got to get, like you said, you got to put a good spin on things, and you want to be positive, but there also has to be some realistic, talk as well. So I don't know. There's got to be a balance, but yeah, I know 3 of those kids pretty well. Well, 2 pretty well, and 1 kind of from the outside watching. And yeah, I didn't. I saw all 3 of those 3 heavy hitters that I thought should be in the finals and probably win. Didn't. and that it wasn't pretty from their standpoint, and they'd probably be the first to admit it. But again, I think we've all been consistent since we started this thing. We don't like to blame athletes. We don't like to point the fingers at them. But there were some things leading up to it that probably would have, could have, should have been addressed better.
And I know I don't like. I guess the thing is, I know it comes up when we kind of talk about this stuff. I know it's not. We all know it's not easy to win. We all know you can have the best plan and still enter the arena and come out with the worst results on days. You're like, shit, what went wrong? But just not even taking that part into consideration. Like it has to be viewed as an underperformance. We underperform. We're number 9. I don't think I've ever seen. I don't know the last time I looked at any finishes in the Pan Am region and saw us beneath 8 other countries,
That's
8 other
crazy.
Pan Am countries.
And it's because we got 3 medals, but they didn't get a gold, and so obviously we know gold is much higher. So you're right. You're right. It's one of those things like Haiti finished I think number 4. They got 1 medal. They had 1 athlete. They had 1 athlete. They got 1 gold medal, and so they're up there. Okay, another country got 3 medals. So they got 3 bronze, a little bit more consistent with bigger club, bigger team. But you're right. The United States cannot finish 9th in a junior under 22 Pan American event with 8 athletes
Per
in
division.
each category. No. That's 8 athletes per division. We can't be number 9. It's an impossibility.
And again, maybe
Impossible.
that goes back to saying, oh, we didn't take enough athletes. Well, that's the problem. And like I said, all the other countries invested in getting their guys there. They formed teams. I was around some of the other coaches. I got to talk to them about it. They purposely bought teams for this event. I don't understand how we skipped this event, especially with it being something on the USOC kind of like. I think it lines up. You know what I mean? I think it makes sense. You got your under 21 person get to the real Pan Am Games, which is a bigger USOC event. Like yeah, all from the beginning to the end, it can't be understood the mission. I don't think anyone understood the mission. So
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
we've always said, and it continues to be the case, performance versus outcomes, right? So if you perform well, and you didn't win, that's a different thing. If you didn't perform well, and one of the factors in that, athletes, we always hold ourselves accountable for what happens in the ring, because I've had some of the worst coaches in the history of mankind. I mean, they didn't understand the game. They paid for a position, or they sat in the chair and just looked at me, and in some cases sat in the chair and didn't hand me my water bottle. Then it's on me to win, and ultimately I think it's on the athlete's shoulders to win. But on the other hand, when you have good coaches and coaches that can see and have an eye, then they enhance your performance. And then there's the other question that needs to be asked is, if they're incapable, why are they in the chair? Number 2, if they're unwilling to help you for whatever reason, I don't want to make any nefarious allegations, then that's a different problem. And I've seen that happen in the past. So the organization, at the end of the day, historically, we have been an organization that has done well in the Pan Am Games. If we're at number 8, that puts us at the bottom of the top quartile, and that's someplace that we've never seen. We breathe rarefied air. We're in a country of 330 million people, and for no other reason, we should be at the top of that medal table, especially in the Pan Am region. You can make arguments all you want for the international arena, where we compete against the entire world, but there's no excuse. And it goes back to the final and most important thing. Why are the people that are holding the wheel still allowed to hold the wheel? Why are they allowed to gas up the car and continue to drive the bus? That's the part that's just fascinating.
we got a lot of people on staff. It frustrates me that I said it about the U.S. Open. I said it about some of the national team trials, that our big coaches are not there. And again, nothing against who they sent. I don't care who you sent. You've already told us who the best coaches in our country are. Our national team head coaches, and they're not a part of the process at that point. At the under 21, you already said you're not going to go do cadets. You're not going to go do juniors. But at under 21, you're not a part of that process. It's gross.
Well, how does it fit into the competition matrix? That's the part that's kind of funny to me. In other words, you make a high performance plan, and you're taking arguably your most important subgroup, and you're saying, okay, we're not going to expect this group to do anything or matter. That's the part that's fascinating to me. That would seem to be
there. They have they bought in new athletes too there that train with them full time. So their guys are there. The ones they just bought into the program are there at this event. Like, I don't know how it would make me stay home. I don't know how I wouldn't take a flight there. Whether it be someone else coach, let it be me be there for support. But there's no shot that I'm not there in support of those guys, because I know that it's important for them at that moment.
And 3 of the people that went there, they specifically picked, right? So obviously they're invested in them. So invest in them, be there, show them that you want to be there. Young, you said something. You said people that paid for the position didn't know anything about the game. Now it's the opposite. People are getting paid for the position, but they don't know anything about the
Oh
game.
yeah, no, the wheel has fully turned, and this goes back to a conversation we've had many times. In the past, we were rife with Koreans that were underqualified, couldn't communicate with the athletes because lack of language skills, and they literally paid for the position. In other words, if you wanted to be head coach, you paid $25,000. You wanted to be assistant coach, you paid this much. You want to be head of team, you paid this much, and that list just went on and on and on. And then the organization was corrupt. They then took that money and had parties and hookers and drinking, not drugs, not that I know of, but certainly then there was the abuse of athletes, both physical and mental and intellectually. So then the organization, and I was part of that movement, decides to flush the toilet and get rid of all of them. And I was on the phone and made that call to get one out in particular, and then that person left. Well, full circle now, same show, same dance, and one of the guys who was part of the problem is now back again, non-Korean, one of the biggest shysters in the world, and he's taking those plane tickets and is in fact running to become vice president of the second most corrupt organization in the world, the WT. So now it's gone full circle. The only difference is the tenor and the ethnicity has changed, and it's full-on diversity. And I can say this, there's not a single Korean involved in it. It's Americans, not Korean Americans even. It's Americans of all colors and shades involved in it, taking the plane tickets and being corrupt and doing nothing performance-wise. So where are all the Americans now, or the people that love the sport? Why aren't they up in arms? So if I were the Koreans and the Korean Americans, I'd be screaming up and down, hey, what about these guys? So, and I don't want to make it ethnic or racial in nature, but you got to kind of look at it. It's xenophobia at its highest. The only other organization more xenophobic than USA Taekwondo is the WT. Their board of directors, their infrastructure, and the Kooky one. The Kooky one too. So just take a look at that. The Kooky one's worse.
Damn. Yeah, that's tough.
Didn't they post something
All
about
right.
didn't someone post something about like the three of the four board members that normally are there aren't like attending the meetings or something like that? You know what I'm talking about?
Oh, time for USAT.
Yeah. The actual board. Because isn't all that election
Damn.
stuff coming up soon too?
Well, I think that was, so we're actually talking about two different things. Herbert Young is talking about like the WT stuff that's coming up because there is a new, Dr. Cho is going to run unopposed, but then now they got council members that they got to get, but it's got to be 2 council members from each region, each continent, but it's got to be a male, female, and they get elected first. And after that, there's 4 more that can get elected from anywhere in the world based on their number of counts. So I know there's a couple USA people going there. That are going to try to run for, the first 2, the male and female here, and then of course the random 4th one. But what you're talking about, TJ, is the USAT board. They had a meeting and there was like 4 people that didn't show up, and they were talking about money issues and different things. And again,
what money issues? What money issues?
No. Something about they had a surplus
issues.
of money and they were moving it from one place to another to accrue more money. I don't know whatever that meant.
Yeah, they had a surplus of money, which I'm like, okay, great, but they had a couple people from what I got, like they're going to invest it to make more money. That's kind of what I got. I didn't read into it too much. I don't want to take too much time on that, but they had a surplus of money, and they had 2 people that were going to help them maximize this money. So sounds like an investment. That's what, I don't know, but that's tough. I mean, from an organization standpoint, you're going to take, money and use it in investment, investment in the sense of like trying to make more money on a stock, on a,
they're limited under rules, what they can do with nonprofit money.
I don't know.
And they also have to, if they want to maintain, which they need to maintain their nonprofit status, the vehicles and the type of instruments they can use to invest in, they can't do certain things. The other problem is they are supposed to, per nonprofit rules, use all that money. All that money is supposed to be used in a calendar year or allocated within a certain degree to be used. And so the foundation, the U.S. Olympic Committee has a foundation that is extremely successful because the people that run it do it extremely well. So that's
Hey, what do you do? Like, for example, if you have private money. So, for example, I get a private donor, I got a sponsor, whatever. Does that money, or is what you're talking about only with Olympic Committee money?
no, it goes in. It goes. You're a
It's
nonprofit.
still a prop,
Yeah,
non,
nonprofit's
yeah.
a nonprofit. So the rules have shifted, I think, a little bit as to how much, but there was originally, and it's no longer the case. The money had to be used or targeted to be used for certain projects within a certain period of time. And so, for obvious reasons, you don't want a nonprofit
Yeah.
amassing a bunch of money, keeping it, and then it's not being used for its intended purpose. So the original idea of a nonprofit was they got certain amount of tax breaks and initiatives, and for that there was a burden that went along with that. The money had to be shown to be used for the purpose of the nonprofit. So, and I can't speak to any specificity these days because it's been a minute since I was on the board of the USOC or USAT. So I kept more in line with that. But like, for example, even in my city, when I was mayor and on the council, we couldn't invest in just anything. There were certain things that we could invest in as part of our portfolio, but even that was governed. And then the money we had, we're a governmental agency, but we have the same thing. There's certain, like we couldn't take our money and invest in Google, right? Or stuff like that. There's a
We
bunch of
should.
reasons.
I know we talked about this before, but I'm still like curious. Um, what percentage of their budget goes to the high performance staff, and what percentage of the budget goes to the athlete investment, whether it's direct athlete support, meaning money in their pocket, or support as in funding trips and development. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I still, it's always, I don't understand why that's this hidden thing or this kind of broken up thing. Like just simply, hey, we
It
have
says it
a
a
million
little bit.
dollars.
It says it a little bit on
What's that?
like the says it a little bit on like the financial statements, but they're always like a year and a half, 2 years behind. But like it also all the categories are very like you just said, they're
That's my point.
yeah.
Just simple. Look, we got $1 million. We have $100,000. 40 of it goes to the staff, and 60 goes to the athletes. Of that 60%, 45% of that is directly in their pocket, and 55% is for events. You know what I'm saying? Like something simple that people could just, because when I see this person gets this, and this person gets this person gets this person gets this, and 8 months later it changes. It gets weird. It gets weird. So
But
anyway,
you
that's
you can download where the money went by doing a simple tax thing, and it's
I'm
and
I'm gonna get my man Don Lewis to do
I'm looking
that.
at it right now, and
Shout out Don Lewis.
so you look at it and it tells you the purpose of the USAT shall be inspire USA athletes to achieve sustained competitive excellence in the sport of
Let's move
Taekwondo.
on.
Right, that's the nonsense. But they had a $3 million 30 income of the prior year of 3.4 million dollars, and they had 2.4, and this was in the calendar year. What year was this? That was 2016. So that's a minute ago. But even back then, that's
Yeah.
what they had. And then it says the largest part of their budget back then was going to events, right?
Yeah,
Not
but even 16, that was even before this administration was even there.
yeah,
So
yeah,
really,
yeah. So
that's
you'd
not,
have to look up the new
yeah,
thing,
yeah.
and so
I know they put it there. TJ, let's move on to the Grand Prix Challenge. It's coming up this week in
I'm
Korea,
excited.
in
Yeah, I'm
Buju.
excited. I'm always excited competition week. I feel like I'm fighting again. Like I don't know. I know it's gonna be those late. Got to get all my sleep in the early part of the week so I can wake up at 2, 3 in the morning to watch the matches.
Hey, it's a 3-day weekend, so that's good. That's good news. Wait, hey,
Yeah.
don't be taking a picture of me.
well, I have one of my seniors calling me, so
Oh,
I'm going
okay.
to send him a
That's
note and tell him,
yeah. Uh,
Definitely some.
why I can't talk to him because I'm talking to the
Tell him sorry, not sorry.
sorry, not sorry. I'll send him that new video I made. But go ahead.
People keep saying
No,
that
but
to me already. People keep using that, but hey,
I
but
love it.
sorry, not sorry. Like okay.
Thank you, Young. That's good, man.
That's the bet.
Hey,
Because that's the way you got to express. Every time that I've been called upon to apologize for something I had nothing to do with, that's what I say. I'm sorry you feel badly about that. Not sorry, but that's not
I
on
read this
me.
quote. I read this quote a little different, not that directly connected to what you just said, but it says like when you speak, you're at the mercy of the listener, and I thought that like resonated
Oh,
with me so much. So
I
it
like
resonated with me
that.
so heavy. Yeah, right.
Yeah, I like
So it's
that.
like you can say a lot of things, you can explain a lot of things, you can break a lot of things down, but like at the end of the day, you're always at the mercy of the person who's listening.
Yeah.
but it's also I mean, again, to that point, you can we said this weekend, Young, like you have a choice to do anything, you have a choice to say anything, but you can't control the consequences. I
Yeah.
can say whatever I want, I can't control how you guys think about it, right?
Yeah.
So whatever you say, like you said, say. But that's why we say sorry, not sorry, because I'm saying what I believe, I'm saying what I feel, I'm not trying to hurt anybody. If you take it wrong, that's on you.
Yeah,
So
because
Just
you
just,
can
break it down.
you can be held accountable. I hold myself personally responsible for the things I say, but I can't hold myself personally responsible for your ability to understand what I said. So that's on you. I can hold myself responsible for what I say and the consequences thereof, but your inability to understand what I say or your unwillingness to do the work that's necessary to understand what we say, that's on you. So if you can't,
yeah.
you don't take the time. So here's this, I'll give you an example of what we were just talking about. So if I say on this podcast, USAT should be held responsible for its misuse of funds, for perpetuating and procreating bad ideas and trying to get people on boards and then ignoring athletes. Now, what I've said, I've said. I'll let myself be held accountable for what I said. That's just reality. Now, your ability to understand what I said or do something about it or not respond, that's on you. I said it. Now, you do what you want with it. Now, the reality
Yeah.
is that you got to stand by what you say or don't say it. Or say it, and then, there are people in the world that say stuff all the time and people dismiss them because they're not serious people, in the words of Logan Roy from that's Succession. So, I can't help people, but we say a lot of stuff here and it goes, and it resonates with people. Why? Because it's true. How can the USA, at its large state of affairs in everything that it does, and when we choose to be good at a sport, we're the best in the world at it, how can it continue to underperform in Taekwondo when it had a history of performance that was better when it was in the athlete's hands? When we were training, everything was in our hands. We by ourselves got and funded ourselves to do things, and we did better. Now they have all the money in the world. They create a thing. They move everybody to the jungles of North Carolina, wherever it is, South Carolina. I don't know where they are anymore. And they hip hop, wick wack, capoeira, fur jackets, and don't perform. Well, that's on you now. You had all the money in the world. You moved it to the jungle. You're in the jungle. You're doing jungle dancing, and you're not performing. On you. Simply said.
All right. Grand Prix challenge.
Yeah, but anyways, I'm excited about that. I agree with you though. I'm not even, I may stop for a second. I agree with you 100%. I think that's what you were talking about a little bit too, Coach. Like that now, it is what it is. You have all the pieces. You have everything lined up. Now, what do we do with this? I'll stand by what I said. I don't think eliminating all the creativity in our country and almost putting people in a position where they have to kind of go. What are you gonna do? You know?
But I wrote down, like, listen, when you win, if you want the sun, if you lose, you got to take the shade, right? I mean, you guys, like, and I think that's the big problem with a lot of people. I mean, or give me an excuse and give me a rational reason why things didn't work out. I just told, listen, I wasn't part of the 21 program in Brazil. On the outside, I mean, I definitely gave some input, but I wasn't training with them. I wasn't traveling with them. I didn't do that. That wasn't, what I was supposed to do. But um, I said we underperformed. I mean, we talked about it in our high performance group. We talked about our coaching. We talked about one day was terrible, like terrible. We were miserable. Okay, but we still, at least we had we can rationalize, what we did, and we could chalk it up to a bad day. But I think that's why I said, if you're gonna take the good, you gotta take the bad. You know, it's you take the good when you make a lot of money, you take the bad when you lose a lot of money. You take the good when you win, you take the bad, when you lose. That should be how a coach, how an athlete, how a organization operates, because we should take responsibility.
But you
Anyway,
know the saying. The saying is success has many parents, failure is an orphan, right? And there's no greater speaker of this than us, and there's no greater denier of this than the organization. They are the first ones to take success and parent it. They're like, oh, Anastasia, oh, she won because no, she didn't win because of you. She won because of her and her coach. You guys had zero.
Poomsay.
Oh, Poomsay.
Congratulations to Poomsay. Yeah. No, Poomsay swept. They swept 3 gold medals.
God bless America. God may they live long and prosper. The
Poomsay because of their
people.
coaches and those athletes. Those coaches and those athletes are doing their stuff, man. I mean, or it's not an organizational thing. That's an individual thing.
That's team,
anyway, let's move on.
That's Team M or whatever they are. Those guys.
No, they got a bunch now. They got a
bunch.
I'm
really?
excited. I'm excited
better than those guys.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't want to.
I don't know. I'm excited about this week though. Like I said, it being in Korea, I'm gonna start with the crowds are gonna be crazy. Like the number of fans in the stands is gonna be a lot. No, why not?
It's Muju. Homie, it's Muju.
Oh, it's in Muju.
They're still gonna get people to show up.
That's worse than North Carolina.
There'll be more than the first one. I think there'll be more than the one this year. It'll be a good sized crowd, but you don't think they'll pack it still? I guess the last one was packed when they did that was right?
I think it'll be more than Charlotte, of course, but the venue's a lot bigger. It looks first class. Muju, Young, you've been there. It's such a beautiful place, but it's in the middle of nowhere.
I've been invited. I was invited for the inauguration. I was one of the first 100. I am proud to say the furthest down I've gone is Gyeongju, or wherever the world championships were that 1 year.
Jeju.
No, the other one, the one I was in the middle of nowhere. You were coaching that for the U.S. still. It was the World Championships like 2000.
Yeah, Gyeongju. I guess you're right. Gyeongju.
But I have yet to be at Muju, although I hear it's a beautiful 5 or 6 hour bus ride, and
that is the one.
4 hours. Yeah, I'm okay with that. If I go there, I'm going to go when it's skiing, because that's really what it's about. But there are many ways to make money with Muju if you wanted to. But it's God bless the Koreans for building a $500 million ode to Taekwondo in the middle. It's beautiful, but it's in the middle of. So is the Ark that they build somewhere in Tennessee. They built a replica of the Ark, and it's in the middle of nowhere. You didn't know about this? Look it up on Google. They built a Noah's Ark in the middle of nowhere.
But TJ, let me ask you something, because obviously there's Young, this one has I'm just going to go at the top of my head. No Germany, no Turkey, no Italy. I think there's a couple French. No Iran. It's really no Mexico. Like there's a lot of teams that aren't going. Obviously, it looks like it's Korea, China, Uzbekistan, Kazakhstan, Morocco. Like those are the main big teams. Spain is there. But I'm curious, because obviously there's a big contingent of Americans, but I don't know. Like I was thinking about this, and I'm just going to say this. I'm going to throw it out there. At what point, it's essentially an open, right? It's an open. You could have 0 points as long as you got your registration in on time and you got in there. But it is a pretty good sized tournament. It is a pretty big level tournament. The chances of going there and winning is probably slim to none for most people. So my question is, where do you balance? Because obviously being in that environment, experience is a good thing, but I have my own thoughts, but I want to hear yours first. Where do you balance on going or not going? Investing your time and money there, or investing your time and money somewhere else based on your level?
I think I don't think that's where we should be right now currently, to be honest with you. I know it's an open. I know you can take, like you said, you can take who you want. You can, whatever process you want. I just think with the points being offered at the President's Cup, I'd want to go fresh into the President's Cup, personally. Me, personally, I'd want to go more fresh into the President's Cup, just to have our guys.
That's another factor.
Because it's right afterwards, At some point, like I said, I said, you got to be the best in the U.S., you got to be the best in the Pan Am region, then you go and be the best in the world. And if this is our Every time I see them write something about this is our pipeline building, then why are we exposing our pipeline to a absurd level? Like again, maybe they all go win. Anything can happen. It's the wide world of sports, whatever. But like that level is kind of tight. It is a lot of people. It is a. I mean, without all the countries you just named being there, you know, where do we fall in that? Like, we're like in that middle. We're maybe best in the middle as far as
Yeah.
as far as result potential. You know what
Yeah. I think it turned into a little bit of like a I'm going to the Grand Prix challenge. First of all, going to the Grand Prix is pretty good, right? But now, hey, I'm in the Grand Prix challenge. I'm going there. I think there's some athletes that I always use this. People always use the word experience, and I think that's a horrible thing to say. Most of the time, people tell you you need experience. They don't really understand. They have nothing to tell you. So I always say you have to have the right experience, because if I go get smacked up 5 times in a row, I'm not getting the right experience. I've had a bad result, a bad environment. Is not for me at all. If I go to a restaurant and I get bad service and bad food 5 times in a row, I'm not going back. I probably leave and I don't go to that restaurant anymore. And that could happen to some of our people. I think some of the athletes that have gone there, God bless them for going and taking a bite at the apple. I give them that credit. But you may have been probably better suited to go to 2 or 3 opens that are a little bit closer, and maybe a little smaller field, and maybe not such a deep field, and you win a couple matches, get on the podium, or you know what I'm saying? Like, I just think that sometimes I think people need to think these things through a little bit more versus just like, oh, I'm at the Grand Prix Challenge. Yeah, 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 yeah. There's coaches. I heard the other day, this coach was talking about coaches and trainers. Coaches and trainers. And he's like, some people are good trainers and some people are good coaches. The first thing I was like, what would you know about a good coach, a good trainer, number one? But number two, their thing was, well, I coached at the World Championships. And I'm like, you coach at the World Championships, and the athlete that you coach was from a little country that went 12-0, 12-0. So just because you went to the World Championships, just because you coached in the World Championships, makes you no authority on if you're a World Championship level coach, and if you can distinguish the difference between a good trainer and a good coach, for that matter, how to develop an athlete. So I don't know. I just think that people probably could have invested their money a little wiser and had a better experience from a performance standpoint. Now, I can do the flip side, maybe being in the environment and saying, wow, I got to see it with my own eyes. I got to feel the energy. Okay, fair enough. Fair enough. That's one other way to look at it. But I'm excited about, like you said, there's a bunch of Koreans in each division, bunch of Chinese. I mean, Chinese are hit or miss for me. Bunch of Russians, bunch of Belarusians, a bunch of Uzbekistan and Kazakhstan. I think there's going to be some cool matches early. I wasn't so impressed with the Russians in the Grand Prix Challenge here, but I think the ones in Korea could be a little bit different. So it should be fun.
I'll say that. I'll say, going back to that one, I think I was impressed with their ability or their level of gameplay a little bit. I don't think they were conditioned. I don't think they were maybe the A squad or like out there to win, but like they were doing some cool stuff as far as like controlling the matches, scoring early. Obviously, the Hogus were strange and all that other stuff we can go on, but I always think Russia is always interesting when it comes to Taekwondo. You just never know what you're gonna get, and I think they'll get their guys primed. And I think these are all good. These are the tournaments that they're putting their guys in right now.
Well, what I will say is you're right. They go out there and you could tell they know how to score. They're looking for certain things. Like you said, maybe someone's a little more physical and beats them. Maybe somebody, kind of stalls them out. But you could tell they know how to go about building their points and win matches. And, I think a better example is when they went to the President's Cup, the European President's Cup, this year, and they were smoking. I mean, they had a 68 guy nobody's seen before, and he walked through the entire field. Now, he didn't go to the Grand Prix Challenge. Maybe he'll be at this Grand Prix Challenge in Korea. But to your point, they are pretty interesting, and they look like if they don't win or get deep into the field, you almost feel like it's only a matter of time, right?
Yeah,
It's coming next time.
Yeah, but all the countries you named for this competition are good countries.
Everything is expensive, motherfucker. So I don't know. I don't know a la chingada porque
I
I never
don't
have
want to work no
money in my
more.
wallet,
I
la
never
verga,
have
so
money in my wallet. All right, sorry.
I don't know.
Well, yeah, again, it's always that. And we've been getting
I
deep
do,
into
can
it,
I
though.
do? I do.
All right,
We
let
get
me
La
deep
let me
into the
verga.
stop
conversation.
sharing. Let me stop sharing. Go ahead.
But yeah, no, I think all the countries in that in those divisions at this competition are good countries, like you said. So I think there'll be some exciting fights early.
What's the
The
name
one
of
I
what's the name of the competition?
It's the Grand Prix Challenge in Muju.
Okay.
Basically the same thing that was in Charlotte. The one fight I do want to see, because I'm a firm believer in, maybe this is the old school in me, I definitely want to see a USA Korea finals. I think those are the
Ooh,
matches you want, right? In 80. I want to see a USA Korea finals in 80. You know, I
yeah, it can
think
happen.
of course it can happen. I think it would be
Yeah,
that would be an exciting match for me to watch. You know what I mean?
yeah. Yeah, and then we go right back to the. I mean, right. I mean, we're gonna have tournaments back to back. TJ, like you said, these guys they start fighting. I believe on Friday, Saturday our time, or what, something like that, 27th or 28th. But it's a 4-day tournament versus a 3-day tournament, which is going to be a little longer. And then most of those people are going to come straight back to the President's Cup. They're going to arrive on Tuesday or Wednesday. President's Cup is on Saturday.
What
But
4 day? You said it's 4 days instead of 3 days?
yeah, it's a 4-day
Both the
event.
divisions up to 4 days?
Yes.
Oh damn. Okay.
But I think they're going to, I think because it's 50 people, it's too many people. Normally, regular is 36, or sorry, 32. So by adding the extra people, they have to, it was too long. So, yeah.
Probably TV
But
stuff too, or like how it is over there a little bit more.
maybe Korea style, yeah. Listen, I'm excited. I'm curious to see the Moroccans and the Uzbek and Kazakhstan athletes, because I think they just seem like they're on a trend coming up. So it should be interesting. And a new thing, a new development. I don't know if I'm at liberty to tell you. I think we talked about last time the French national team coach Rosendo. He left France and is moving to another team. He hasn't announced it yet, so I'm not going to say it. But then also Juan Antonio Ramos,
Just said it.
who
Said
has
it.
his own. No, I don't want to say it because it's not my
But you
thing.
just said it. You said it without saying it.
No, he's leaving. It's already been announced publicly he's leaving, but they haven't said the team.
Oh.
So I don't want to say the team. But Ramos is, for the first time ever, is going to be coaching for the Spanish national team, which I think is kind of cool because he's coached for a lot of different individual countries and things like that, because he has a club and coaches for them, and he's done a great job for himself. But yeah, he's going to his national team. His wife, I believe, is still on the staff. So that's kind of cool that after, I think, when is his last game? Was it 2008? His last game was in Beijing. So here we are, 14 years later, 15 years later, that he's no more than that, 17 years later, he's going to be coaching, for his home country. So congratulations to him. He's a great guy. A lot of expectations, a lot of pressure for him to bring his level to already pretty successful program. So I think, seeing him in the chair with, some of these new Grand Prix is going to be interesting for the world. Very interesting.
Nah, for sure. He's a great coach. He's an energetic coach. He kind of, you just never know. Sometimes, we talk about willing an athlete to punch or willing an athlete to score. He is the king of creating a situation where all of a sudden his guy does something that should be done, but at the right time, you're just like, again. So like you said, congratulations to him. I'm always excited to see, people like that kind of get back to, like, again, I'm a dreamer, but like to be able to coach in a national team for your country is something amazing.
What I give Ramos credit for, because yeah, one thing I do love about him is his passion. Like, it's not necessarily my style to jump and go super crazy. I might lose control once in a while, but him. He has his heart on his chest and on his shoulder, and man, when things go good, he's like, "Gah!" He's on the ground, he's like jumping, and when things go bad, he'd be ripping those boys a new butthole, man. He don't care, man. He's yelling at the ring, telling them to shut up. Like, what are you doing? I told you not to do that. I give him a lot of credit, because you know what? He is who he is, and for better or worse, that's how he coaches, and that's why he gets the most out of his people. I mean, you can't deny his passion and his ability, like you said, to will people to win when they're probably down or not in the mood. So yeah, congratulations to him. But it's gonna be a great Grand Prix challenge. I don't know. Maybe we won't be able to do it before then, but I'm gonna go through the list. I'm gonna try to pick some winners. It'll be hard.
I'm down.
It's gonna be like super hard.
Let's do
Maybe just go with some
brackets.
favorites. Like, yeah, I want, obviously from America. it would be cool to see CJ in that environment because I think he's going to overwhelm some of the Asian countries. I mean, we'll see if they can get to him with their endurance. We'll see some of these Uzbekistan and some of these people. I'm curious to see how people stand in front of him to see if they are able to withstand his pressure or not. Because it could get ugly too, right? They could pick him off. If they're not scoring front hand punch.
Are they using
they got the electronic
the yard?
I think so.
Mm.
And that's a big weapon for him. So
let me
anyway,
ask you a question about front hand punch.
Still bonus points for spinning and all that stuff, right?
So front hand punch, right? There's a cover where your hand that's in front, you switch your feet and you cover.
Yeah.
Cross punch, yeah.
So is that a front hand punch or a backhand punch? I switched my feet.
I haven't seen nobody throw a cross punch or a cover punch in like 27 and a half years. Like,
you want
that
to
used
see
to be
it?
money. I think it's great. It's the one, but like
it would still be in the front hand, Young, because if I go like this and I go here,
no, you switch your feet, right?
Yeah,
so your foot, you like this, right? But before you go, your foot switches. Your hand becomes your front leg becomes your front leg. Your back leg becomes
almost
your
like a
front
Superman
leg.
punch.
Yeah. But your front leg becomes your back leg.
I just don't know why we're telling people how they can punch when we can kick however we want.
That shit don't work, Earl. I don't know what you're talking about, man. Why are you bringing up some old stuff, man?
Well, but what about if I go like this?
Not like that.
I
I'm
take
just saying,
my hand,
like,
I go,
no one's slowing it down and doing that. I would love to see someone cover punch. Because I think if they go backside cover punch, shouldn't matter.
No, I think you can still do that. But no, what TJ's point is right. I just thought it was hilarious when they said, first of all, I don't think the front hand jab, should be scoring. Even though sometimes I see people hit heavy with it, I see way more times people throw back like hooking with it and whatever. But okay, wait a minute.
Yeah, but is that worse than a back hook kick to the body or a front hook kick to the body, which scores?
It's probably not, Young, but my point is you can't kick. That's like saying you can't kick with your front leg. You can kick with your front leg, but we're not going to score it. I can front leg axe kick you in the face. I can front leg hook kick you in the face. I can front leg side kick you in the face, but we're not going to score because with the front leg. So you don't make a distinguish between front leg and back leg. Why should you distinguish between front hand or backhand?
Yeah.
It's just a weird concept to me. I just don't get it. But anyway, I mean, they're not going to.
Well, welcome to the brain trust at USA Taekwondo at WT. Right?
But Young, but check this out. At the Junior Pan Ams, they specifically said we're going to score front hand punches if we want to. I'm like, really? So the WT has said they're not going to, even though it's not in the rules anywhere. They just say we don't. But in another continent, they will. I mean, it's just madness, craziness, weirdness. I don't know.
But like I said, excited about this upcoming tournament. Gonna be up at 1, 2, 3 in the morning watching as many matches as possible.
You're not going? You didn't get a plane ticket?
I don't get invited to those things. I don't have any athletes going. It's open for coaches. I saw some other coaches over there with some of their I guess personal or home athletes kind of sort of doing it, just like they did in Charlotte. So there's a lot of people going though, right? Like you said, there's a lot of USA guys. We have 4 or 5 almost per division.
That's crazy.
Isn't it?
That's crazy.
I think about right. I think so. We got a good number of people going. I don't know if it's 4 or 5, maybe it's 3 or 4, but there's a good number of people going that are
at least 3 or 4.
Yeah. Which is again,
I mean, TJ could have went. He could have took some of his personal athletes there, but like again, the investment. Rather save your money and go to President's Cup right afterwards and be healthy. But I don't know much. That's just me. So, what else? What are we gonna finish up with? We good? We good for today? Anything else I can think of? Something else.
What? Oh, he's got a football helmet on.
Oh, let's go
Thursday.
Yo.
Thursday.
Hey.
Who are they playing? A high school team?
No, they're playing the Super Bowl champs. Hey, check this out.
Oh, we know how that's going to go.
Thursday.
That's the way you should wear your headphones because you don't listen anyway.
We play the Eagles first too. It's gonna be ugly, but we in there. We gonna win the Super Bowl this year.
My name is
Bubba.
Hey, Bubba.
TJ.
I got Dame Bramage.
After my delicious Vietnamese food, I went back to my hotel and I said, you know what? I'm going to get a beer. I sat down. Another couple sat next to me, a couple older people. I don't know. We're talking. Everyone's talking. And we're just having a banter. And then I don't know how we got on football. And then the guy said something, and I said, "What's your team?" And he's like, he looked at me. He's got his hands crossed. Me, where am I at? I'm in San Francisco. He looks at me. He's like, the Cowboys. I'm like, I get up, give him a high five. I'm like, how is that possible that you're a Cowboys fan in San Francisco? He's like, all San Francisco does is imitate the Cowboys or imitate anybody else. They always take the names and this and that. They got nothing original. I was like, I was looking around to make sure I don't get hit.
I hope my wife doesn't listen to this podcast this long.
DJ, his wife was listening to the game on Saturday night. It's Saturday night, right? Saturday night on the or is it Friday?
Saturday,
one of the nights, I can't remember what night. She was listening to the preseason game on the radio. I'm like, dang, she's diehard, boy. Locked in.
That's cool.
She loves
go Cowboys. Week 1. If we win this first game, we win the Super Bowl.
When was the last time the Cowboys won something?
Hey, we should go. It's time to go. The 90s, baby. The 90s.
Was it
back
the
90s?
The best time.
Yeah, it was the 90s.
All right, send us off, Grandmaster.
All right, well, it's been a great, as always, an inspirational moment. Look for this shortly. It will be up, and we are out.